Welcome to the 26th episode of NPSee, the series that aims to bring the unimportant NPCs from games to light. Let us dive right into the vast province of Cyrodiil in the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion. This episode we bring our attention to the castle in Bravil, the home and residence of Count Regulus Terentius, his family and his staff. In episode 23 I referenced Gellius Terentius, the Count's son, as a skooma addict. To tie up that loose end and learn some more, let us gaze into the gilded halls in which he lives. The Count Regulus Terentius is the...
Too important.
Gellius is an imperial man with a snooty disposition and a hidden addiction we have already discovered. Pretty sure most other people know as well.
That little prick, sweet with the sugar. Easy street all the way.
Drals Theran is a dark elf man that serves the Count as his inquisitor, rooting out the local bandit, inverted commas, activities. An odd position to be sure, and his motivations for taking the position are dubious. Dronarahi is a Khajiit woman and the Count's steward. Due to the Count's priorities, she shoulders most of the work of actually governing the town. Hans Blacknail is the castle smith and has been around the Count for a long time and wishes he were more active. He himself, however, has chosen odd circles to be active in. And finally, the castle mage is Fathus Aaron, a dark elf man. He is also an associate of the Mages Guild and a skilled conjurer. He plays a role in a late guild quest which will not be covered here. When approached, Gellius swiftly reveals his disdain.
Surely you must know who I am. The Count's son. Do you mind? I have no desire to be further acquainted with every visitor to Bravil.
Pressing the conversation option, Bravil.
Yes, Bravil. How clever of you. You've already learned the name of the town and county. I see a great future for you in public service.
Oh, he believes in me. Indeed, I serve the public by bringing light to the dark and stalking the common folk.
Goodbye. Yeah!
Drals Theran introduces himself.
Drels Theron. I'm the Count's Special Inquisitor in charge of suppressing the Renridra Kryn insurgents. The Renridra Kryn are Khajiit bandits and smugglers, posing as guerrillas and freedom fighters.
I'm sure the Renridra Kryn are quaking in their boots.
If you're interested, you may want to see Gilgildaring at Silsahilda. He's the best source.
Dronarahi immediately declares her busyness.
Dronara, I'm Count Bravil's steward. I'm sorry, but please, I have too much on my mind to talk.
She's too busy to even say her name correctly. What a pro.
The Count is too preoccupied with his pastimes to spend time on county affairs, so the burden lies on me.
The picture of how the governance of this hold functions unfolds. It seems a lot rides on her shoulders. Hans Blacknail boasts his position.
Hans Blacknail, Castle Smith. It's a comfortable post. Gives me plenty of time to offer services to the public.
And discusses his history with the Count.
I was with the Count when he was young, and a shining star on the tournament path. I only wish he'd straighten his son out.
Surely he cares for the state of the hold, I'm sure. But maybe not the state of the world, as when Crow approached him after retrieving the Mysterium Xerxes.
For Lord Dagon! I do not. Die!
Another one to add to the list, I suppose. Fathus discusses his disdain and detachment.
I'm Fathus Aaron, Count Bravil's staff wizard. I can teach you conjuration. Anything to relieve the tedium of castle patronage.
He offers rudimentary conjuration training.
Good that you want to get better.
And he also has a sense of humor.
Far be it from me to criticize my patron and sovereign. Bravil obviously flourishes under his wise and beneficent rule.
What a wonderfully opulent town indeed. Gellius spends most of his time in his private quarters, the restricted area above the throne room. Every time I went in to check on him, he started running away from me.
Look out! Oh, this is...
He sleeps between midnight and 6 p.m. He takes a weekly trip out on Lordas. At 12 p.m., he journeys to the skooma den that we all know and love.
How do you do, ugly little animal?
You ugly thick
There he revels with the other rowdy folk all day, only departing at midnight. Now, Drals Theran, real quick. That's the person writing the wiki. Apparently, the Renridra Kryn does not pose a major threat in the Bravil County, as Drals lives a relatively relaxed life and never even leaves the castle. The shade. Drals wakes up at 6 a.m. and wanders around the private quarters. At 8 p.m. he departs to the Lord's Manor to have dinner with the Count and the steward in their private area. At midnight he heads back to his room and to bed. Dronarihi sleeps from midnight to 6 a.m. like the others. She keeps to her room for 2 hours before taking a trip out into the city. Now this behavior is unfortunately the result of a bug. Way back in episode 24, you may remember this random Khajiit woman.
Hail!
Lo and behold, it is the very same random Khajiit woman, Dronarihi. She walks out of Bravil for 4 hours rather than reaching a specific location, and then turns around. Once she finally arrives home, she relaxes in her private quarters and heads to dinner at 8 p.m. or vanishes at the door. Hans starts his day at 6 a.m. and hangs around his forge, pretending to work but actually plotting his part in destroying. At 8 a.m. he travels to the local chapel of Mara to pray, hoping he will be forgiven for his conspiring to destroy. At 10 a.m. he traverses to the Fighters Guild to spend a couple of hours hanging out and watching the sparring fighters.
Greetings to you.
So as to learn proper techniques ahead of destroying the world. At midday, he returns to the forge before taking a dinner at the barracks at 7 p.m. At 10 p.m. he goes back to chill before sleeping at 12, likely dreaming of destroying the world. Fathus must be wicked because he has no rest, electing rather to spend his time pacing his private room from midnight to 2 p.m. Then he goes to the local Mages Guild to do mage things, like chatting with nerds and stuff.
They say he actually went into an Oblivion gate and destroyed it.
Ah.
At 5 p.m. he remorsefully leaves for his room.
Hello.
They say that the priests and priestesses of the chapel have all been murdered.
See you. Enough talk.
Only exiting for dinner at 8, eating alone in the vast castle dining room. They all, appropriately, live in An Castle. It is a magnificent structure, built on the east side of the city, inhabiting its own section separated by the channel. Traveling across the bridge, we enter the courtyard that leads to...
It's a castle. We know what they look like.
Gellius lives in a big room to the far left of the north wing. Drulz resides in a chamber just left of the entrance to the staff quarters, and Dronarihi lives on the opposite side. Both have sizable, luxurious rooms. Hans Blacknail also resides in the staff quarters, staying in the smaller room at the back, wherein he keeps some interesting reading materials. He works in the forge nearby, which appears like Oblivion's definition of a forge. Fathus stays in the north wing's closest room, wherein he has an alchemy setup standing in an otherwise sparse chamber. Gellius fights like the loser he is, not putting up much wine. He wears a fancy green outfit and jewelry and carries his skooma mug, and whilst the run defends himself with a steel short sword. But despite being a hoity-toity inquisitor, is not proficient in combat. He falls in just a few hits. He wears a black and burgundy outfit and gold-trimmed shoes, as well as some jewelry, keys, and gold. Dronarihi is a much better fighter. I do feel bad about killing her, though I suppose judging the worthiness of an NPC being alive based on their apparent level of importance and functionality in the world is a rather disgusting outlook. She wears a full green fancy outfit, you know, and also keys and gold. We already know how Hans fights. As all other MD agents do, he covers himself in their magic armor and is killed by the guards. He wears a blacksmith's outfit and has keys and gold. Fathus is somewhat spicy, making use of his magic to defend himself. Although his wizardship lends him little health, he does equip his iron armor and dagger, as well as summons a rotting friend. Once defeated, his final defense is the game's programming, as he is essential for now. He wears a burgundy linen outfit and quilted shoes, and carries keys and gold. It is clear that, should the castle be raided by the Renridra Kreen, it would not fare very well. But then again, they do have a never-ending stream of generic no-name guards.
Stop!
The Renridra Kreen are a group of Khajiit freedom fighters that aim to reclaim land taken by or given over to outside forces. The name translates to the mercenary's grin, the laugh of the landless, or the smiling scum. These sentiments guide how they function, as dauntless, jovial reclaimers of land. The part of Cyrodiil south of Bravil, including Leowyn, all used to be part of Elsewhere, the Catfolk's home province. It was given over to the Imperials in an agreement with the Main, Elsewhere's ruler. The Renridra Kreen reject this transaction, rebelling against their ruler and taking the fight to the new residents along the River Niben. Concerns over the faction appear in both Bravil, with the necessity of Drulz, and Leowyn. There, residents remark on their distaste of the faction, likening them to bandits. Given all of this, it needs to be said that the socio-political climate of Bravil, what with the lackadaisical governor and an anti-Khajiit outlook despite being largely run by a Khajiit woman, is fairly unpoggers.
Unpog. Something that is not poggers, like when trolls steal your children, or maybe when your friend give you a +4 in Uno. Alex, it was really unpog of you to steal all my money to fund your pyramid scheme.
Unpog. Being racist and being a little bit boy.
Met the NPCs Gellius Terentius, Drells the Run, Dro Narahi, Hans Blacknail, and Fathers Aaron of Bravil Castle be NPC'en. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you again in the next episode. I'm sure the Renridra Kreen